These guys are going kind of fast. Yeah, one thing I don't do is I don't speed. I'm terrified of cops. I've been driving for about, not riding my motorcycle, but driving a car for, let's see, I'm 19, a couple months now. Therefore, I don't know, I've probably been driving about 3.5 years maybe. I think I got my permit 15 and a half, something like that. But I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, okay, no. So I haven't been driving that much, and I was doing really well without getting any accidents, not getting any tickets or anything. Excuse me. And then all of a sudden I got pulled over once. This is in like the span of like 6-7 months, something like that. I got pulled over about 6 times. And I never like to get in trouble, but it wasn't for speeding. Once I got pulled over for speeding, and that was the only time I got the ticket. The other times were just bogus reasons and such. One time I was going to a friend's party or something like that, and apparently the people in the neighborhood, or the people at the party, there's some immature people, like freshmen in high school or something, and they're running around the neighborhood, and I think that some people called the cops saying that there's a bunch of kids running around the neighborhood making a racket and such. And so by the time I get into the neighborhood and I'm trying to find this person's house, I see there's cops swarming the neighborhood, and I was like, oh crap, what's going on? I'm thinking in my head, I don't want to go to the party because I don't want them following me, and in case I don't know if there's underage drinking there or not, but I didn't want to go to the party. And so I go into a cul-de-sac and I turn around, I was about to come back, but then a cop corners me in the cul-de-sac and then just stops me. It was a woman cop. She shines her little cop beam, the little light beam in my eyes, and she told me to stop. So then I stopped, and she asked me where I was going, and I said, I was going to my friend's house. I lied to the cop, actually. I said, going to my friend Chelsea's house to figure out to watch a movie and whatnot. And she's like, well, where does your friend Chelsea live? And I was like, I don't know, I gotta find out. So she made me call the house, and I actually got the address to where the party was. And I gave it to the cops, and I don't know if they went to the house or not, but I didn't go to the house. I just excuse me, when they let me go, I just decided to bounce. I was like, I'm not doing this. That was one time I got pulled over. The other time I didn't have a front license plate on, and I took it off like 2 days before. And over here in Virginia, it's illegal to not have a front license plate on the car. So I got pulled over. They're like, you know you don't have a license plate on. I was like, yeah, I know. I don't have the bracket for it. I kind of lied to them. Well, I didn't have the bracket. I had it on there with what is it called? Zip ties, and I cut those off. That's one time I got pulled over. Another time I got pulled over for, I was test driving the car that I have now. Before I had it, the guy hadn't driven it in like a year, so therefore the expiration date as well as the license plate both had expired. And so I drove her down the street, and I was just gonna turn around and come back, just like a little test run. And as I was sitting at the light to turn around, a cop pulls up on the other direction, going the direction that I would be going. So once I turned around, I was right in front of the cop, and I was like, oh crap. And the cop was driving like diagonally behind me at the time. And I guess he glanced over and saw my tags or whatnot and saw everything was out of date, and they pulled me over. So that's one time they pulled me over. And the bad thing was is they pulled me over and they're like, "Can I see your license and registration, please?" And I was like, "Oh crap," because it wasn't my car. And I looked around for the registration or whatnot. I couldn't find it in the car. Finally, I found it inside the center console, but I had called the guy originally that owns the car and told him I got pulled over. He was gonna come bail me out, but by the time they got into their cars, the cop let us go. He was a pretty cool cop. He just said, "Well, be careful when you buy these cars, because a lot of them have problems you can't see." Well, he was a cool guy. I let him know that I was just test driving it. I was bringing it around the block. I was actually on the way back then. He was a cool guy. That's probably the best the best experience of getting pulled over. I don't know if being pulled over can be a good experience or not, but that was the best one.